Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Let me ask you right off the bat, could you bring yourself to sell something you know is actually harmful? Today, we're diving into this completely fascinating exploration of ethics in commerce. We'll be unpacking a really thought-provoking paradigm based on Awal Azare's insights on Islamic marketing. Whether you're a seasoned marketer or just kind of curious about how goods move through society, this is absolutely going to challenge how you view the marketplace.
Seriously, think about your own ethical baseline for a second. Could you, in good conscience, sell a product if you knew it caused real, tangible harm to the buyer, or maybe to the environment around them?
Or how about this one? What if you priced a basic, everyday necessity so sky-high that you were literally exploiting someone's desperation, right? Your instinct is probably screaming, "No way!" And hey, congratulations, because that proves you already believe marketing needs some kind of ethical framework. But the real question we're looking at today is, which framework? And how deep does it actually go?
All right, Section 1, Beyond the 4 Ps. Let's get right into it.
To figure out where the ethical gaps are, we kind of have to look back at the foundations. For decades, conventional marketing just relied on this super simple transactional checklist. It was developed by E. Jerome McCarthy way back in the 1960s. We're talking about the classic 4 Ps: product, price, place, and promotion. Basically, it's the ultimate factory output model. You find a need, you price it, you place it, and you promote it. It's highly efficient, sure, but it's also largely empty of any deeper social conscience.
But, as you might guess, scholars eventually realized that transactions aren't just an exchange of coins, right? They're actual human relationships. So the model had to expand to the 7 Ps. By adding people, process, and physical evidence to the mix, the industry finally woke up and acknowledged that marketing is really this flowing, dynamic system of human interaction.
Moving on to Section 2, a parallel marketing evolution. So there's this really massive misconception out there that Islamic marketing is just some modern attempt to slap a halal label onto those existing Ps just to grab a niche demographic. But look at the timeline. It tells a totally different story. Back in 1976, which is a full year before the 7 Ps were even formally popularized, this visionary scholar, Muhammad Abdul Manan, published a framework that completely redefined marketing from an Islamic worldview. So it wasn't playing catch-up at all. It was a parallel evolution.
The key takeaway here is that this wasn't just some minor tweak to the existing rules. No, it was a completely distinct, holistic paradigm operating on a totally different level, and it culminated in this massive, absolutely comprehensive 14P framework.
Okay, Section 3, Mapping the Islamic Perspective. To really see how this framework injects those traditional Ps with a profound ethical soul, we've got to start with two absolute, totally non-negotiable concepts. First is halal, which means permissible, and second is tayyib, which means wholesome or pure. And here's the kicker. If a potential product doesn't meet both of those criteria, the whole marketing process just stops, right there, before it even begins.
So let's map out the very first P, product. Conventionally, we just ask ourselves, hey, will this solve a functional need? But the Islamic reality, which is termed Sultan of Silla, flips that on its head. It asks, should we even make this at all? Does producing this actually bring us closer to God by serving His creation in the right way? So the product completely transforms from a mere object into a sacred trust. It's a huge shift in mindset. Now, before we even talk about pricing, we have to define the actual boundaries of profit. And these boundaries are governed by 3 very specific things: idel, which is justice; riba, which refers to exploitative interest; and gharar, meaning deceptive uncertainty. Keep those in mind.
Because when we map the second P, price becomes qimat el-adl. Suddenly, it's no longer about trying to figure out the absolute maximum amount the market can bear. Instead, it becomes a mechanism of justice. It requires mutual consent and strictly avoids any kind of hoarding or exploiting scarcity. The profit motive is totally fine, but it is firmly, securely leashed to the overall well-being of the community. Next up is place, or makan. Now, conventionally, this just means efficient logistics, right? Getting the stuff to the shelf on time. But here, the supply chain is a strict moral chain of custody. The integrity of the product literally has to survive the whole trip. We're talking ethical labor practices, halal transport, and absolutely zero mixing with anything prohibited.
Then for the 4th P, promotion, we see a shift to taqwa-centric or God-conscious communication. Think about it. Where conventional promotion is usually all about artificially inflating human desire, Islamic promotion is more like an invitation to goodness.
It's sincere, it's moderate, and it completely avoids things like false oaths, vanity appeals, or the objectification of bodies.
And when we map the remaining 3 Ps from that expanded 7P model, people, process, and physical evidence, we see that every single element gets elevated. People becomes about akhlaq, or character, treating the customer as an honored guest. Process has to be perfectly transparent, frictionless, and Sharia compliant. Even the physical evidence, like, say, the physical layout of a store, is deliberately designed to maintain human dignity. That could be through modest dress codes or providing designated prayer spaces.
All right, Section 4, the 14 Ps paradigm.
Now here's where things get wild, because the framework takes a massive quantum leap beyond just 7. It actually encodes the entire pre-production and post-consumption lifecycle of a brand. It brings in these profound new elements, like promise. And we're not talking about a catchy marketing tagline here. We're talking about a sacred, binding covenant of transparency that prevents any deception long before a launch even happens. Then there's sabr, which translates to patience. Think about how revolutionary that is for a second, making patience an active marketing strategy. It literally means explicitly rejecting those high-pressure sales tactics and any short-term exploitation. Instead, you're favoring the slow, steady build of genuine, enduring trust.
And perhaps the absolute most impactful post-transaction P is philanthropy, achieved through zakat or tazkiyah. Let's be clear, this isn't your standard optional corporate social responsibility that's just done for a quick PR boost. No, it is a mandatory purification of wealth. It guarantees that as the business grows and succeeds, the most vulnerable people in society are inherently uplifted right alongside it. It's baked into the system.
Section 5. Marketing with a purpose. So, you might be wondering, why does zooming out to this whole 14P system actually matter to you? Well, because it proves that this framework is not just some tiny niche. It brilliantly aligns the functional creativity of those original 4 Ps, the human centricity of the 7 Ps, and this really beautiful, timeless ethical core. It shows us that marketing doesn't just have to be a cold, calculating tool for commerce. It can actually be a powerful vehicle for societal well-being.
And it leaves us with this beautifully provocative question straight from the source text. It's one that I think every ethically minded professional really has to answer for themselves. Marketing is no longer just about how to sell. It demands that we stop and ask, what is actually worth selling and why? Thank you so much for joining me on this Explainers Day. I really hope this gives you a completely new lens to look at the marketplace. Catch you next time.